chances are you're about to lose.
There's never been a better time than now to stop what you're doing and tune in to Straight Up, TAB Radio's weekly podcast that will guide you through the difficult journey that is the punt. Whether it be racing or sport, the Straight Up team has your back. Now, from the studios of TAB Radio, welcome to Straight Up.
McGinnity.
Oh, hi, Mart. Welcome back, Ross.
Thanks, Brad. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see both of you, actually.
It's good to see you out at the sales last week. You're in very good form.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Good fun days out there, especially when you can keep your hands in your pockets.
And that's something you're very good at. 10, 3, 108, Heavily Shades, Blake Shin, $1.70, 104,
Mickey
Kunda
McGuad,
Carrot,
stop
$2.50, Jacivey, $1.70. $7.50 the Quinella, $12 exacta trifecta, $34.70. First four, 10, 3, 1, 8, 126 even, 9 and 10 the double 7, 40, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13 out. Bunbury race number 4, quick look here. Hey Pino 480, 2 Power Trooper 41, 4 Swindle the Dove 550. Number 6 is Unsubscribe is 41, 7 Inspirational Mac 31, 8 Mr. Invisible 61. Number 9 is Galilea, 16. 10 is Casavina, 13. 11, Return of the Mac, $1.80. And 12 is Bright Delight at 11. What did you come up with here, Riley?
Well, the fence looks the place to be at Bunbury today, that's for sure. They don't look like they're making much ground. Nice horse, the favourite, Return of the Mac. Territory's filly, shown a fair bit in her first 2 starts. You love your territories, don't you, Ma? So there's one for you. But, yeah, I thought she'd be hard to beat. Really like the last start effort of Hey Pino, 3 wide, no cover. Likely to settle closer in running than Return of the Mac as well. So I could certainly make a case for Hey Pino. But I think the top 2 in the market have a pretty firm grasp on this one, Mart.
How are we looking for Saturday? Are you excited?
Always, perennially.
Yeah.
Indubitably. Not even the right application of that word.
Easily excitable, our man McGinnity.
Mm-hmm. Marjorie Charleson.
Like one of those chihuahuas when you throw some treats on the ground or some schmackos around the joint.
Yeah.
Schmackos.
This is the City of Belmont Marjorie Charleson Classic 2. Time on it. Great race. Leads us into the Esperance Cup for Freight Lines on Sunday.
Already been money for the favourite there.
Even at the shorts.
Yeah, even at the $1.75 or whatever. They're keen already.
Yeah, they're spruiking it, aren't they? Past the poster.
Spruiked.
Spruiked.
Don't turn up.
No.
Keep the others at home.
Text line's on 0427 789 571. The big question is, do you like James Cummings' new hat, the new Akuba? Yes or no on the text line?
It's a yes from me.
It's a pretty cool hat, isn't it?
Almost
Really?
looks like a straw number from now that the light's getting into it.
The old Panamas.
Well, leave me out of that.
It worked.
Yeah.
Changed their fortunes on the weekend.
He needed to.
The hat on and they all started jumping out of the ground, the Blue Jackets.
Witten's Irrigation and Design Handicap. We need to get this one out of the way. It's over the 1,000 and one. Keep It a Mystery. 385 into 440. Blue Rocket. Half to red, 440 to 4. Number 3 is Kundal, 16, 17 into 14, and 8 Ginger Morpheus. That form's already been franked today, hasn't it? 250 into 225. 5 KTY is $6, and 6 is My Zoom. 1831 just spec back into 26.
Oh, you're in a bit of form this afternoon, Mart. I'd be surprised if we're on air next week. This is celebrated stuff.
Something to do with that first name, I think.
Yeah, it's not a good time to be a Marty.
Back from a spell and straight back in the paddock.
Ginger Morpheus, an early 1300 at the 250. Keep It a Mystery local sharp money 500 there at the $5, and plenty more rank and file money piling up for Ginger Morpheus roll.
Thought this was a very tricky little 3-year-old sprint. Good race, though, to kick off proceedings on the weekend. Ginger Morpheus is very quick, and also he's the new kid on the block of this bunch, or one of the new kids on the block from this bunch. He was, as Marty mentioned, he was a dominant winner at Bunbury last start, and that form has been franked already. as well. He parked in the breeze. He put pay to them on straightening in pretty impressive fashion. There's clearly a very big opinion of this horse from the camp as well, Mart. He's gone around odds on in both career starts as well. He drops a bit of weight here and thought he could park outside the lead in running. I thought Keep It a Mystery likely to boot up inside him and lead, and he's parked outside the lead both runs in his career to date as well, so certainly not something unfamiliar to him at this early stage of his career. This is certainly a big jump on what he has been racing against. I do think that at the price he's well enough found for me, but he's clearly a key winning chance. I thought Blue Rocket trialled super, scratch from Wednesday to save for this. She's already twice placed in Saturday 3-year-old company in her career and should get a gun run close to the 1 out, 1 back position in running from the barrier that Brad Parnham has drawn with her, and the trial suggests, Brad, that she's back in superb order, putting away the very sharp Sky Duke under light riding with some authority in that trial, and we saw Sky Duke go out and win first up yesterday as well.
Very nicely too, and even the horse like KTY, there's a bit of intent there, isn't there, Ross? William Pike on first up, no trial horse that trialled the house down last prep and was very good and done a little bit stiff at Albany.
Very stiff at Albany.
I was shin sore after the race as well, so obviously a horse with plenty of upside, and very interested in seeing how the Durant stable goes now that they've reduced the numbers by a large amount, as everyone would have seen in the sales on Wednesday. So just interesting to see how the stable performs from here with those smaller numbers.
Yeah, only adds another element of intrigue. KTY likely to sit out the back in the small field over the 1,000 metres, Brad, but this is from what we've seen publicly, this is a horse with plenty of ability, and William Pike is going to suit a horse like him down to the ground, you'd anticipate, so certainly a key winning chance in the small field. But
how good's a Wizard been since he's come back? Already struck today again.
Exactly right.
He looks engaged. He looks refreshed. He wants to be there.
Comes back hungry too. We love that.
Hungry.
Wants to devour some winners.
Just a quick shout out as well to the Pommy Pie who texted in and suggested on Tuesday that Sky Duke was the best bet of the day at Ascot on Wednesday.
Good on him.
Went around at $12 and got the cash.
Maybe he's not a myth.
And I completely poo-pooed him as well. So
maybe he's not a myth.
Credit where credit's due. Yeah. He seems to back a lot of winners. The Pommy Pie doesn't get many wrong, and he didn't get that one wrong on Wednesday with Sky Duke. Best of the day. Well done.
Just before we look at the next, how's the Retrovision text line looking?
Yeah, there's a few texts coming through on that text line, Marty, and one I think we should certainly get to. It's well worth the time. This is for you, Mart. Hi, Marty. It's a very sad day for racing with the passing of Mike Moroney overnight. I met him in the members at Flemington after he placed third in the 2005 Melbourne Cup to Maccabi Diva. He was celebrating with champagne, and we had the next table, and we were congratulating him. He was a legend in the racing game. Cheers, Rick from Rossmoyne.
Yeah, that is for sure, Rick. We've known Mike for a long time. He first come over here. What did he bring a horse? He brought a horse over way back by the name of Rockford Bay. Would have been about 04, 05, 06, ran about fifth in the railway. And then he was back with other horses along the way. Mission Critical, Flashy Fella, brought a few across, but he was always more than happy to meet everyone, have a good time. And he'd been crook for a while. The mail we got about a month ago was he was just starting to sort of come good a bit. But obviously he succumbed overnight and passed on, and we certainly wish all our best to the Moroney family and friends. Won that cup with Brew, of course, I think 2000, wasn't it?
Always enjoyed listening to Mike discuss his horses, always a very honest assessor, and spoke really well as well.
The impact is quite massive because they had stables in New Zealand as well, and it's a very big breeding and buying operation. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes to now with Glenn Thompson in there as a co-trainer with him. Good operator, Glenn. And his brother's involved as well. So, yeah, it'll be a watch this space. But, yeah, Valet him. And we heard, too, earlier on from Darren reporting that Jackie Galanti passed. And that was a real shock. And to Alio and Troy and all the Galanti family, we send out our heartfelt sympathies there. pennies there with the passing of Jackie. Terrible news.
Terrible news, exactly right, Marty. Sending my condolences their way as well. Just one more from Zach off the text line. Just wanted to ask about the Bonce injury in the game this afternoon. Wasn't watching, just read about it from my understanding, Zach. Some very early calf tightness / awareness for the Bont, and they aren't going to take any chances with him. But in saying that, not ideal on the eve of opening round with the injuries that they've already got to deal with, the Dogs at the moment.
Currently, that match, it's 53-44. Western Bulldogs still in front in that third quarter. We got about 6.5 to play. So race number 2 out there at Ascot on Saturday. The 2-year-olds go around. The MCA Polytrack Plate. It's over the 1,000 metres. One Pemberton is 390-350. 2 My Richards 51 Spectre 26. Number 3, Eye of the Fly, 16-20. 4, Ripper Rupert, 7 out to 9, I should say. 5, Spirited Strike, 13-17. Number 6 is Why She Left is $19. 7, Why She Stayed is $41. 8, Shanti Girl is $41. 9, Jewel of Zavala, 18-15. Number 10 is May This Be the One, $8. Number 11 is Memphis Minx, $3.70. 12, Split the G, 10, and Warning Label, 21. So not a lot of movement here in the market for the 2-year-olds.
Yeah, Mark, just the early activity there for Pemberton. A nice bit of 1,500 there at about that 390 and a little bit shorter range. Just a couple of bets there piling up for Pemberton. In a race, Rolls, that had me scratching my head.
Me too, Bradley.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag me too. Yes, you could certainly put me in that bracket. I think Pemberton's a nice enough horse. Not a lot between it and Stride Away, according to Neville, listening to an interview he conducted before that Magic Millions 2-year-old classic, and he also said the horse would have been a live chance in that 2-year-old classic had he got a start. So clearly there's a pretty strong opinion of Pemberton behind the scenes. I liked his recent trial. He wound up pretty nicely over the 1,000 on debut late. The last preparation when we saw him, and then over the 1,100 metres at his most recent start, he struck the highest rating 2-year-old race we've actually seen yet this season behind Talk & Co, and thought he was a nice enough performance on that occasion as well. Got a little bit keen in the run, but still finished off nice enough despite the beaten margin. He's drawn a nice barrier here. I think the 1,000 metres perhaps a touch short of his best, but this doesn't look to be an overly strong 2-year-old race from what we've seen at the trials. Bradley, a couple of other horses I did want to mention. Spirited Strike, I thought looked good in a recent 400-metre jump out behind a sharp one, a horse that I'm certainly going to be following once we see it at the races for Adam Durant in Playing It Sweet. I thought his recent jump out was really good. He's the fool to Another Strike, so he's from a well-performed family on the track as well. And Memphis Minx, I thought, was a nice trial as well. Given a softer time of it when grabbed late by Split the G, draws underneath that runner and also gains the services of William Pike. So you could certainly see why there's been some interest with Memphis Minx, who trialled up nicely as well. But yeah, not a race I'm overly keen on, Bradley.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where none of the triallers really, sometimes they sort of stand out. A few of them, none of them really grabbed me hard, and the raced ones, well, we're not sure where a few of them are at either. May This Be the One is one that might be a nice. There's a bit of intent about it being back at the races. Would have loved to have seen it trial, obviously, but straight back at the races for a horse that showed plenty in its initial trial is something that I'll be watching with interest. Spirited Strikes, I share your opinion there, Rolls. I didn't mind those trials at all, so it's another one I could entertain. But even one down the bottom like Warning Label, I thought it was warming quite nicely and showed a little bit there in its trial too. So, but do I want to wager in this race the way the market is at the moment? Probably not. Maybe just a few cheeky novs, Rolls.
I am happy to stay out of this one, and May This Be the One, as you mentioned, Bradley, really nice 400-metre jump out back in September of last year, so it has been a while. She's a fool to the very sharp Desert Whisper as well for Luke Fernie, so there's some good relation there as well, Mark.
Oh, what about the mauler last week? 5. He got a handful, and didn't he? Let me know after everyone saluted the text was coming through. So
outstanding.
The Mauler has bustled his way back into the main stage. He's race 1, number 4, Ginger Morpheus. What price was that?
Yeah, about $2.30.
Okay, and race 2, number 12, Split the G.
$100 blockbuster voucher coming your way to Mauler for your tipping performance.
What about the Dupster? We owe the Dupster
that blockbuster voucher's in the mail. It's in the mail, Dub. You get it.
Hey, we said 3 weeks in a row at the top of the tree. Tab touch voucher.
Did he get there?
He got there.
Did he?
He got there. So
I've got to go back and check this. We'll get moving on this next race. The Liberty's Insurance Handicap. No, he could well get this. 1:39 start time. One Captain Pluto, 275. Opened up at 2, drifted 2, Fluoro Neuro 7-6, Zafira's 950, 10, back to 850. Above the peg, 14, 17, 15. Number 5 is Manavendra, 15, 19, 18. Memory Parade is 5, 6, 550. Close to win, isn't it? And Missile Storm, 550 into 350.
Oh, there it is, Mark.
Yes, first of the day. Race 3.
Look me in the eyes,
Yes.
big boy. Yeah, they're pretty keen, Missile Storm. This is Eastern States Pros.
EPOs.
Very much the Eastern States Brigade are keen here. A tiny bit of local money, but... 600, both there at the 420, but earlier on someone's got involved at the 550. Another couple of 500s there, another couple of 400s there. They are queuing up for Missile Storm. Local pro money, the LPM, Mart. Fluoro Neuro at the $7 and Zafira at the $9.50. What else do we have? More local sharp money, Fluoro Neuro, a couple of $600 bets there as well. So, pretty decent punting race.
yes, very good race. Small field. It's a bit of a theme of the day out there on the weekend. Captain Pluto continued his very impressive fresh record last start. It was a big win from where he settled in the run. Regains William Pike on the weekend. I think likely to settle last again in the small field from where he's drawn. It's a bit of value for me, though, Bradley. A couple of runners I wanted to touch on. Happy to make a play here and put one in the book, Marty, with Zafira, who I thought was a terrific return for Simon Miller through that same race. Was dictated to by a wide gate, got back to last and really worked home well over the concluding stages. Best last 200 of the race. Gets a couple of kilos on Captain Pluto from last start, and I think she's one, I should say, who's more than capable of pushing forward and sitting the first 2 or 3 with that better barrier that she's drawn here in the small field, and I thought was likely to have tactical field advantage on a horse like Captain Pluto, who is likely to go back from that barrier. So with that weight swing, with the setup off the back of their respective last start runs, I thought the price discrepancy was a little bit much for mine, so happy to make Zafira a play. Just circling back to wrap up race number 3 before we get Brad's thoughts, Marty, as well. Missile Storm, the price has gone off. There's no doubt about that, but if we do see a little wobble with him, he's another one I'd be happy to have something on in race number 3. He's showed how far he's come as a horse since joining SJ Miller last start, Brad. A versatility I'm not sure many of us thought he had, charging home from last to get up, ran the quickest last 2 of the entire meeting on that occasion. He jumps up into much stronger company, it's fair to say, but he drops 4.5 kilos off his back and from barrier 1 finds a race without really any speed whatsoever. I thought Brad Parnham could even kick through to lead and dictate terms here, and given the lack of speed and gauge with a front-running rider like him with the light weight on his back, I thought this was a really good setup for him to perform well stepping up into this company in what's a very open and competitive betting race, but they're the 2 that I'm looking at backing in race number 3, Missile Storm, and also number 3, Zafira, who's over the odds for mine. Yeah,
I wouldn't even be shocked if they looked towards the front with Zafira, who's, but way back in the day, was known to settle on pace, and I think it's maybe even breezed in the pole lead in the past, so certainly a good option to investigate for horses like it, with how muddling this speed map does appear to be, Mart.
Tricky.
But Captain Pluto getting out to $3 plus around the traps, whatever, that's, just sits there, stalks them, and probably puts them away again.
Well, Grant Williams will be on 5:35. We can chat with him and find out about what he thinks with Captain Pluto and Fluoro Neuro in the race. You're smirking over there, Riles. What's happened? Text line.
Yeah, text line's going off at the moment. You've been given a new nickname as well from a couple of our listeners this afternoon, Mart.
What's that?
They're loving Sheer Gold's enthusiasm this afternoon. So you've got a new nickname, and one from Zach. He's up and about. He says he's loving that you're up and about today as well, Mart. He's wondering how they'll use Barrier 1 for Missile Storm. So that's basically what we just touched on, that perhaps they might look for the front, despite the fact that he did go back to last from the barrier in victory last start. And Riley and Marty, I met Michael a few times, mainly while working for Lloyd, and he was just a dead set, genuine person. What you saw was what you got. Unfortunately, the world seems to be not like that anymore. R.I.P. Michael. Go have a well-deserved brew. Cheers, boys.
Well done.
Well played.
Well played. Yeah, Mrs. Max Handicappers race 4. It's over the mile at 2:19. One here, 4 checks, 4:23.80 special sort, 5:50 out to 8. 3 Stylish Lord, 3:20 to 2:65. 4 Covert Rose, 5 to 4:40. 5 Playing Around, 4:60 to 6. 6 Here's a Zeb, 101. Just spec back to 61. 7 Best of the Gods, 19. And 8 Lord Randolph, 51.41.
A bit of sharp money early playing around at the $4.60, so you're welcome. Stylish Lord, 1,000 at the 3.20, another 1,000 at the 2.90. Here for checks, 600 at the 4.20. That is all LPM at local pro money. Covert Rose, the cashish is starting to pile up there as well. We've got nearly 600 at the 4.40, which you are welcome to. And another couple of $200 and $300 bets there at the bigger price at the $5 Covert Rose. It's a nice little betting race, actually. We're laying a few, so good to see.
No surprise there. A few horses that are pretty hard to catch in this one, Bradley.
Oh.
So it doesn't surprise me that you're laying a few off in race number 4 on the program. It does look the right race for mine. For the favourite, Stylish Lord, he's on the back up after yet another strong performance last weekend. He was grabbed late after looking home for all money by Axeman's Jazz and Memory Parade, a couple of horses you would think are better quality than this grade of race and the depth of this race as well. Bradley should land in the first 2 or 3 in running, you'd suspect, and certainly gets his chance off the 7 days back in grade, does Stylish Lord. But he has had a few chances, and while he doesn't have exactly a negative career record from a wins perspective, he has been hard to catch for mine over the journey, but he does find his right race. Just no value for me at the current price at $2.65, but he's the way I went from a tipping perspective. I was pretty I was pretty keen on the chances of Here for Checks last week, who's another on the backup, and gee whiz, that wasn't the most enjoyable of watches for those that were on. Hit the front, looked to have the race absolutely Gonski, shot to bits, and somehow managed to run third. Here for Checks, he's certainly got his tricks, there's no doubt about that, but he's back to the mile and could push forward from the draw. Thought they might even lead with him, given the lack of speed engaged in this one. And one of Marty's, second up, Covert Rose, nice mare, just peaked late. First up from the breeze with the 60 kilos at Bunbury behind Elbow Lounge, and importantly gets William Pike back on board, and she's got the versatility to go back or forward and get some weight relief too second up, so you can just about guarantee there'd be some improvement with her. And if Pike was to find the front, for example, Mart, in a race without a lot of speed, I think she'd be pretty hard to beat.
It's happened before. I'd sort of forgot about her. Glad you reminded me.
Mike, Playing Around, was this the horse that you mentioned when we were on air a little while ago?
Stop it.
Looked outstanding. Pretty sure this was the one.
Was it?
Bunbury a couple of weeks ago looked outstanding in the yard, and you mentioned it won well. Might have come back a little bit.
Playing God, yes.
Might have come back a little bit better, I think, and might be ready to start going through the grades, Mart.
Right.
Mart's been following this one very closely. Very closely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of pricey. What is it, like $7 around the traps? That sort of
good price.
That could get me.
Yep.
That could get me, absolutely.
Nothing for the book.
Nothing for the book for me, Mart.
I better sneak one in before this next event at Bunbury. They're heading towards the barriers now. Race number 5 on the card.
What are we talking about?
What?
Sneak one in?
Yes. The Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap is over the 1400. And number 1 is War Jam 15. 2 Famous Journey 13. Drifts Mystic Jane 460 drifting. Zach Loves to Fly is 16. Number 5 One Above All 61. 6 Terra Tiff 185 to $1.65. They wanted it.
Are you counting that?
No, but I'm saying they wanted it, didn't they?
You are gun barreling me right in the eyes.
No, Export Girl is 17 to 15. Fortune's Luck. Well, how short do you open them up?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
18 to 15. You've got to give them a chance to get on. He's Archie's 41 to 23. And the Chief Justice for TFP listening in. He's texted in. TFP. He's Dynamite 51 to 41.
Karaoke hour on straight up. Terra Tiff. There's some sharp money at the $1.80 and then a ESP Mart is stepping on. That $1.75 will do me, thank you, champion. And I'll have $2,000 on that.
It's not like an STD, is it?
I'm not sure. Have had links with both. Terra Tiff. It's going to be a lot of multis, Rolf.
It'll be rolling.
Yes. Yes.
Surely the bad luck's run out.
Well, famous last words, isn't it? But I
thought it had its chance last start. I didn't really. I'm joking. Just
we've been there. You can have a bit of fun with runs like that, can't you, Brad? Especially on Twitter with a few disgruntled punters. Always good to get involved there. But no, agree. Should be taking care of this lot. You'd think with even luck, really talented, lightly raced 4-year-old would have derived great benefit for that luckless first up run as well. I think I could see a scenario, Brad, where she is 3 back the fence, which could get a little bit sticky, but not also a position you ever really panic from with the wizard, William Pike, on board with a mare with a really nice turn of foot as well. But I think she will be winning. No value at the price. There's a couple of other horses in this race going well. Famous Journey's consistent, struggles to win. Mystic Jane was a really good run last start, was chopped out at a crucial stage. I think you could mount a case that she's in that finish, if not wins that race, if she gets through when she needs to, taken out by Missile Storm, who we give a pretty strong chance in a stronger race than this earlier on the program, and a couple who at odds who are going better than their price would suggest. I think Zach Loves to Fly is a very happy horse at the moment, has a tricky barrier. It was a really nice win at Mount Barker last start, and Export Girl going much better than her price would suggest, but does need a fair bit to go right from that barrier that she's drawn. She's out of a very strong race last start. This is certainly a big drop in grade.
Well, you set your mark, don't you, in regards to the favourite? You set your price and you take what you're happy to take, or you multi what you're happy to multi, or you have some knobs, or you find something else each way.
We don't have a bet.
There's never been a better time than now to stop what you're doing and tune in to Straight Up, TAB Radio's weekly podcast that will guide you through the difficult journey that is the punt. Whether it be racing or sport, the Straight Up team has your back. Now, from the studios of TAB Radio, welcome to Straight Up.
Yeah, we're back. Now, 2,200 metres is the Peters Investments Handicap Race 6. Time to go, 3:35. We are at $12. 2 Bold Heroes, 245. 3 Queen of Jerusalem, 20. 4 Catch These Hands, 12. 5 Magic Whistle, 850. 6 I Love Your Smile, 5. 7 Mystical Man is 11 in from 16. How are we going now? As Savorsky, 17 from 21. Star Rating at 7 and Style Acts at 41. Do you want it again, champ? The 4. Huh? The 4.
The 4?
In the trot here at Kilmore.
Let's just call it here.
Yeah, you called it a lap out, Mark. You called it a lap out.
I don't know why we bother with this preview and Mickey McGon just tips them for fun.
It's got up and won. Anyway, what about this race at Ascot, the Peters Investments?
Well, Mart, Savorsky, $350 each way at the $19, if you don't mind. Bold Hero, $400 at the $260. Another $500 at the $260. Savorsky, another $350 at the $17. Very well stipped that out wide, Savorsky, the old long-range big odd meerkat there, Mart. Catch These Hands, $300 at the $13. Mystical Man ESP, Eastern States Pro Money, $200 at the $11. And Star Rating, a couple hundred there at the $6.
What did you take away from the run of Bold Hero last start, Bradley?
Happy to put the crayon through it.
Yeah. Mulligan?
Yep, I tend to agree.
I'm only allowed to write with crayons.
I tend to agree. Definitely excuses last start. Got a bit hot pre-race, was vetted pre-race, and just wasn't able to build momentum into the race when he needed to. He's, for mine, got a lot more upside than these, and you run the risk of, maybe he might have had enough this preparation, but he's going to lob into a strong position in running from the barrier and think he's more than capable of bouncing back. Short enough, I would suggest, at the price, but I do think he's a really nice staying type on the rise for Simon Miller. Magic Whistle's going super for Misty Baisley.
Humming.
He's humming at the moment, and he wasn't stopping late last start behind Stormageddon over the 2,000 metres. He was very strong through the line, although beaten by a better one on the day. He looks your likely leader, I thought, in this race as well, and looks to control things with the lack of tempo in this one. It's a nice setup for Magic Whistle to run another really good race, and then you have to have respect for horses like I Love Your Smile, big jockey change, CJP jumps on board. We'll need a bit of luck from barrier 1.
Great sneaky return, wasn't it,
yeah,
for the new camp?
And Star Rating was a nice run through that same race last start, and you get William Pike on board for a relatively still lightly raced mare who's still only 4 and seemingly getting better once they've got the runs under her belt and stepped her up in trip. So, interesting one for me here, Bradley, just quickly before we move on. I love the run 2 starts ago of We Rate You, and then last start, very disappointing, wasn't it?
It's sort of in a part of the race where you basically can almost put a crayon through it as well, Rolls, because it was just last and wide, and was okay late, but yeah, it's ticking along nicely, isn't it? And you're getting an each way price there. Star Rating probably gets me as it continues to drift each way in a pretty even race. Bold Hero, well, do you want to take $250 after last start? Some people might, because its runs before that were outstanding.
I'd be throwing We Rate You in the quaddie. That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yep. Race number 7, the City of Belmont Marjorie Charleson Classic. It's over the 1,200 metres. Time to go 10 minutes past 4. And 1 Twain's Angel is 265, 2 Rissoles 460, 3 Generosity 360 to 310, 4 Brave Strikers 26 just specced into 18, 5 Angel Undercover 11, number 6 is Wango Award at 8, and 7 Selfless Act at 26.
Mart, a couple of local Sharpies and the ESPs, a Keen Generosity for a nice trial first up. We've got 800 at the 360, a couple of 900s there at the 350, and again at the 330. So Generosity is to the extent where it's almost one-way traffic for significant bets, Rolls.
Yes, no surprise there, Bradley. But this is a really cracking race for the girls, isn't it? Only a small field, but it's a real quality edition for mine with some up-and-comers and some established horses. This year's edition of the Marjorie Charleson. Twain's Angel gets to this race so well in under the conditions of the race, at set weights and penalties. She should have finished a lot closer to Snowdome last start in the Cyril Flower, and we saw, as we know, that form was franked over the weekend, Marty, in the Pinjarra Classic. Interesting how this race plays out in the first couple of 100 metres with the lack of speed. It's almost a bit of a theme of these small fields on the weekend. There's a lot of tempo on paper engaged in these races. I could see her leading by default here. Maybe a brave strike pushes forward to try and take things up, or a selfless act from barrier 1. They're the other 2 horses I could see playing a part in that early speed battle. But despite that, she either leads or box seats in the first 2 or 3 in running. I think she's a very deserving favourite. She brings the best form to the race, and if she were to touch $3 with this money that we're seeing for Generosity, I thought on a very tricky betting program, Marty, I was happy to make her the best of the day for me.
There you have it.
In Twain's Angel, I'm terrified of Generosity, who resumes, and they don't trial any better than that, Brad. Fair to say, with what she produced there under Chloe Azzopardi. I don't think we've seen the best of her yet in her racing career to date. She's encountered a lot of bad luck along the journey with her racing pattern as well. She's going to settle last in running and is yet to win fresh in her career to date, but you have to respect a horse who was able to gun down Joker's Grin the last time we saw her at the races, and I'm actually pretty keen to play a little Quinella here with the top 2 in the market. Numbers 1 and 3. I think they'll be running top 2.
I'm a little bit concerned that Generosity might have beat Joker's Grin, who wasn't probably at the top of his game. I reckon it might have been an end of prep run for it. But
rudely interrupted Bradley McManus, who was giving us his thoughts on the feature out there on the weekend, Brad. So we'll circle back to you.
Just a bit concerned about maybe that sort of race where they go that slow for this class of horse, and it might be impossible to make up much ground in the straight. So I'm a bit concerned about that. So I'm inclined to side with you about $3 plus Twain's Angels, probably where I want to be if I was going to have a play in the race. But there seems to have been a little trim up with that price in the last few hours. It was $3 pretty much everywhere, and it's sort of into $2.60, $2.70 now. So the money started to come.
I think $3 is a really good price.
Okay.
Really good price. Got some respect for Rissoles, Marty.
Yeah, it was a good win last start.
The informed guys will park.
Yeah.
Was a very good win. Not sure where her ceiling is and what level she's going to be able to get to in her career, but she's certainly trending in the right direction. She can lob right there and running as well from that low draw. She showed that tactical speed last start, but I will say this is certainly... particularly at the pointy end of the race, this is certainly a lot deeper than that field she put away last start, Marty.
Just have to rattle a few off here for the Mauler Race 3 Captain Pluto. What price would it be? Race 4 Covert Rose. Seems to have an affiliation with that stable. Race 5 number 6 Terra Teef. Race 6 number 2 Bold Hero. And race 7 number 1 Twain's Angel.
You sure he's not placing their horses for them?
No Lost City tip?
Might as well get these out of the way. Race 8, number 2, Our Mate Archie's Best. And race 9, number 11, Smooth Mover.
Oh, he's taken on Lost City, his poster horse.
Yeah, he has.
Wow. You got to stick when you make those sort of proclamations.
Yellow card areas, Mola.
Here we go. Race number 8, the Key Clean Handicap. It's over the 1200. Start time 4:44. Corn Cob, 23 spec. Our Mate Archie, the best, 390 to 340. Fine Touches, 41. Supportive, 18. 5 Catch the Red Eye, 20. 6 Hang Glider, 13. 7 Hymns of Aladare, you little beauty, 9 into 750. 8 Lost City is 9. 9 Bow Talk is 61. 10 Rapid Rock is 18. 11 Perfect Chant, 370. And 12, nicely played, 750.
Hymns of Elodie are 1,000 places at the $3 and plenty of 200 win bets at that 850 range. Perfect Chan, a couple of $300 bets there at the 380, 370. Our Mate Archie, Eastern States Pro Money, 750 wins at the $3.70. Ross.
Yes, very competitive race, this one. I do really like Perfect Chant as a 3-year-old filly. Thought she was super last start, into third in the Magic Millions 3-year-old trophy. The barrier's the sticking point for me with her drawn widest in the 12-horse field. This does look a 3-wide line race from a map perspective for mine, and she has already shown how versatile she is at this early stage of her career. She raced well from well off the speed last start. She won on debut from right over the speed as well. I think Chris Parnham just needs to offset the wide barrier, and close enough to $4 is a nice enough price to find out with the upside she brings. The 3-year-olds that have this kind of ability. Just have the wood over the older horses at the moment, but it doesn't look as insane that a straightforward setup. If she drew a gate, Brad, and she was still hovering around at that quote she's at now, I'd be all over her, but the barrier is the real sticking point for mine.
How about your horse, Smart Hang Glider? Trolled well.
Might need one.
1,200 first up. Maybe the slight.
I'll take that as a no.
Listen, I might as well just play it now, and because the listeners to the Aftermath, they all understand and remember. Hymns of Aladare. I think I'll stick.
That was a really good win.
I think I'll stick.
That was a really good trumpet too.
Yeah,
that was world class.
Well, the Aftermath listeners know. They remember.
Yep.
Look at those Swan Draft tunics. I'd love to get one of them. I know I say it every time I see one, but
I'm picturing you in one right now.
Just put it on and go down to the pub and start drinking them.
Did you get that? Did you get that text message I sent you this morning of the?
Yes. What's the name of the horse?
Annette Crump has got a horse that's yet to make its debut named Swanee D, please. And that's a beauty. So hats off to the connections of that horse, because that's a very, very good name.
Oh, get that in the same races, isn't it? Is it Bring Me a Frothy? Or
Yeah. Yes.
We can Quinella it up.
Yes. Just doubling back to this race, I agree with you, Marty. I think Hymns of Aladare is a genuine winning chance. Was well and truly back to his best first up, and with the map, looks a nice each way price at what's currently on offer, so can certainly make a case for him. Our mate Archie going great guns, gunned down by Fluoro Neuro, who had his back in transit last start, and you now get William Pike back on board. Looks a bit tricky from a map perspective for him as well, Brad. There's certainly speed drawn underneath and both outside him, so interested to see where our mate Archie lands in the run from the gate that he's drawn there on the weekend.
Yep, as you said, speed outside, speed inside, and horses like Nicely Played and Hymns of Elodie right there towards the fence. So looks enough tempo for them to sort themselves out, Rolls.
Looking for $4 for me, Mart, to be getting involved with the 3-year-old Perfect Chant.
Right. In the lucky, the Bellis Racing Stables 30th birthday handicap over the 1400, and one Hostile Talk 850 to 7, Secret Attraction 650 to 550, Street Parades 51, Cashel Palace 15, Strike Now 31, Gage Roads 12 to 950, 7 GG Pops 11 to 750, 8 Only Eyes for Him 51, Reginald's 81, and Schmoove Mover 270 into $1.90.
Early market's affected by a scratching there, Mart.
Prince of Santos.
Yeah, about 71 cents in the dollar there. It's a significant scratching. But Schmoove Mover has been a cave-in job. This is your meerkat of the day.
Yes.
Have it a
1,200 at the 270, cop a slight deduction. 1,400 at 225, a couple of thousand at $1.90. 1,000 at 210. Gauge Roads each way, Mart. Well punted.
Yep.
The $12. Plenty of $400 and $500 bets there. Schmoove Mover. Yeah, this is they are wagering.
Speaking of Schmoove Movers, Duppy is up in arms.
Oh, no. Hang on. Dup.
He is up in arms, Mart. He thinks you might have pocketed his $100 Tab Touch voucher and utilised it at a comfort venue in Burswood.
I don't think they take that. I don't think we can do the deal there.
He says he will be boycotting and will be listening exclusively to Mike's Mail and the Races WA podcast.
Oh, look, we'll organise one for you, mate. We'll get one for you. Leave it with me.
We might get him back. If we can get that voucher to him, we might have him back. So fingers crossed we can right our wrongs with the Dupster, because we do. Integral part of the show, Brad, I would say. But
Foundation, bricks and mortar.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is a really good race to close out what I found to be a very tricky betting program. Gentlemen, Schmoove Mover is all the rage from a market sense. I think that's rightfully so. Monster run in the Magic Millions. Got back to a long last from drawing widest. Savaged the line late to be beaten just over a length. takes on the older horses here and doesn't have to get anywhere near as far back in a race where they should get along at a good gallop with the engagement of Gigi Pops, who's going to run them along as she tends to do. Drops down to the 55 kilo minimum. I think it looks his race if he handles a step to the 1400 metres with an unimpeded run, which he should get from where he's drawn. I was 205, Brad. 220 probably get me for a bet, but unlikely we see it, I suspect. But the race certainly doesn't end there.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person in the world that maybe didn't think Smooth Mover was as good as it could have been last start. I thought it was a little bit, a touch grindy for a horse that normally charges into the race and lets down. I thought it was a little bit...
I think you're being harsh.
Being a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
But, I just have to trust your eye sometimes, and Maya told me that it wasn't the same horse as it sort of was in the few starts before that, but I could be well wrong and could have egg all over my face on Saturday. But this is another test. It's the 1400. It's the older horses. There's some really nice horses going through the grades in this race. So really excited to see what transpires. But, not forgetting about a few horses that have a lot of ability that will definitely appreciate the 1400 and plus, like your Secret Attractions, your Cashel Palace. And as you said, Mart, a horse like Gage Road's going very well as well.
Proper horse, Secret Attraction, I think, Mart.
I think
Really nice horse.
I think the favourite's a nice horse, isn't it?
It is. Certainly is.
Mm.
And an improver on Saturday as well, Cashel Palace.
Yep.
Needed the run, first up, no trial, 1200 metres in that Magic Millions race, and I think she's going to very much appreciate 14 and also for having that run under the belt as well.
Secret Attraction in Calgary was outstanding, and when she come to Perth and ran in that race behind Fly with Caution was a massive run. Remember, it was
monstrous.
Good thing beaten.
Was it ever? We had a terrific run with her up in Cal, and we were expecting that horse to run first up at Peters to go well last week, which scratched at the barrier. The Justify horse that had done so well up in Cal as well.
Oh, Secret Style.
Secret Style.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll be sniffing around Secret Attraction as well. So we got any bets here in this last race?
Not at this stage. I'd need 220 plus to be on Schmoove Mover,
yeah.
but I do think it looks his race.
Secret Attraction each way. So each way ish, you're probably not going to get that full money back to place, but
Love.
Close enough will do me.
Love to see. Very interesting with that freshness in her legs. 1400 as a kick-off point I really like. If we see a scenario where Pike's following Schmoove Mover on the back of him, or potentially they make their runs alongside each other once they straighten for home, I think that'll be a very fascinating little battle.
Tell you what, it's a good race. The last, well and truly worth waiting for. And we need some best bets for the program on Saturday. Let's start with you.
Okay. Thanks, Mart. Race 3, Captain Pluto, $3.20 around the traps will get me. Race 4, playing around $7 plus each way. And just to make up the numbers, we'll go with race 7, Twain's Angel, but it's probably not going to get to that $3.20, $3.30 mark now, Rolls, because the money started coming.
Yes, if we see some $3 Twain's Angel, that's the best bet on the program for me, Marty. Just turning me off halfway through speaking, which is great. And then other bets on the program for me. Race number 3, I did like a 2-horse play. The price has gone for the 7 Missile Storm, but I do think Zafira is value at the each way, or the $8.50 currently at the moment. I thought her return was super through that same race as Captain Pluto at Pinjarra last start. Then a bit later on in the program, race 8, looking for $4, and I'll make Perfect Chant a bet from that wide draw. Just needs a bit of luck to offset that. And race number 9, doubt we'll see 220 plus Schmoove Mover, but that would get me as well in what's a really good race to round out the program. But races 3 and 7, the 2 for me, Mark, Twain's Angel, and also Zafira.
Yep, and you're still having a little Quinella generosity?
Yes, in race number 7.
Race 5 for Mickey's underway. He made 13. He said it just wins. So it's about $1.55. That race is underway. How about our old mate out there at the Mundaring? How's he going? Heard from him for a while.
Butchie, I think he put his hand up about 12 times at the sales.
Did he?
Yeah. So
Got involved?
He's always involved in that side of the game, so he loves it. He's bred a few nice ones too, so
yeah.
Well played to him.
Yeah, well played. And his team's certainly firing.
100%.
All right, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done, Bradley.
We hope you enjoyed another stimulating episode of Straight Up. All betting markets supplied by Tab Touch. All care, no responsibility went into the production of today's podcast.